Hello everyone, my name is Suman Kumar and I am a member of Group 2C alongside Ishan Dangle, Raghav Gupta and Gurmeet Saini. I will be presenting on the THERANOS case study and the introduction and conclusion are done by the team. However, I will be presenting on the opening and context, the theoretical framework and advanced ethical analysis, health implications and systematic patient engagement, professional competence and regulatory violations, deontological and utilitarian analysis, and the conclusion by the team. So to begin with, in our introduction, the Theranos case scandal represents one of the most significant ethical failures in modern healthcare technology, fundamentally challenging the intersection of innovation, professional responsibility, and public trust. So this was founded in 2003 by Elizabeth Holmes, where Theranos promised to revolutionize healthcare through blood testing technology that could perform 240 tests from a single drop of blood. So this case went beyond the simple corporate fraud to reveal systematic failures in scientific integrity, regulatory oversight, and corporate governance that demanded sophisticated ethical analysis through multiple theoretical framework. So moving on to the theoretical framework in advanced ethical analysis, the case requires examination through advanced virtue ethics, which reveals that Holmes and Belvani demonstrated not just mere dishonesty, but there's a fundamental corruption of scientific virtues, where curiosity became reckless ambitions, confidence transformed into excessive pride, and innovation evolved into manipulation. So the American Chemical Society Professional Code of Conduct emphasizes that chemical professionals must understand their limitations of to their knowledge, yet Holmes operated outside her domain of expertise, representing categorical failure of epistemic humility. Now, epistemic humility happens when the intellectual and moral virtues of recognizing the limits of one's knowledge and understanding is low. And, as person, you should be open to new ideas and perspectives, and obviously understand acknowledging the potential for the errors that you could make, and there could be incompleteness in one's beliefs. So additionally, care ethics the ethics analysis illuminates how Theranos violated the fundamental duties of care within the networks of relationship. This network involved patients, investors, employees, and other broad healthcare ecosystem. So what he did was prioritize selective goals over concrete harm that would be coming on these individuals who were very vulnerable individuals and who merely relied on accurate medical information. And this was discussed in the case of Trotman and others. It's a 2022 article that standard studies neglect care ethics, which emphasizes the relationship of appropriateness and more reasoning and responsibilities emerging from interdependence. The case is also supported, the theoretical framework is also supported by the Kembaza and others in 24, which says that previous analysis identify integrity violations, rigorous virtue. Ethics examination shows that there are deeper character defects that embedded in systematic deception. Moving on to the healthcare implication, and this is one of the most critical areas that we'll be talking about. The health implications extend just beyond inaccurate test results to encompass what the philosopher Miranda Fricker terms as epistemic injustice. So this is the systematic wrongdoing of individuals in their capacity as knowers who are aware of the situation. And this was also considered by in the case of Mueller and others in 2025. So apparently in 2013, between 2013 to 2016, Theranos sold approximately 1.5 million faulty blood tests to over 175 Arizona residents through the Walgreens Wellness Center, with subsequent investigations revealing an alarming 87% failure rate during quality testing. So this systematic endangerment violated both the beneficiaries and maleficiaries through their four critical mechanisms, which are systematic misinformation that led to inappropriate medical decisions, delayed diagnosis where false negatives were prevented, the false negative prevented critical treatments, caused psychological harm from false positives that created like obviously unnecessary anxiety and harmful follow-up procedures, including post cancer diagnosis, as far as miscarriage notifications, which were all false. And this was an erosion of medical trust that undermined confidence in legitimate diagnostic technologies while damaging the emerging movement to patients' autonomy in preventive health care. Moving on to the professional competence and regulatory violations. So Holmes and Belvani operated far outside their territories of expertise. They were lacking essential biochemical, clinical, and regulatory knowledge necessary for their claims. So this represents not just mere incompleteness or incompetence, but willful ignorance. They deliberately chose to not to acquire knowledge essential for the responsible practice. So the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services concluded that Theranos technology had basically put patients in immediate jeopardy, and it's likely to cause serious injury, harm, or even death. And that is demonstrating the catastrophic consequence of professional incompetence within the healthcare innovation. Briefly on the deontological and utilitarian analysis. So the Theranos case represents a catastrophic failure, that I have said, across multiple ethical frameworks demanding comprehensive analysis. So from the deontological perspective, Holmes and Balvenie were obviously systematically violating Kant's categorical imperative, as their practice of making unsubstantiated healthcare claims would, if universalized, completely undermine the medical testing institutions while treating patients and investors as just mere means to financial enrichment rather than testing institutions while autonomous ends deserving truthful information. So inconsistently, the utilitarian point of view or analysis ethics might initially justify the risk innovation, because anything you want to do, you have to take risks. But utilitarian ethics might initially justify risks innovation for the societal benefits. However, proper consequentialist analysis reveals that Theranos actually maximized harm by diverting resources from legitimate researchers, by creating regulatory backlash that hindered future innovations, and he was undermining essential public trust and causing direct harm to patients through false diagnosis while systematically defrauding the investors. So the convergence of deontological duty violations and utilitarian harm demonstrates that preventing similar failures requires the actual reforms, independent oversight of the bodies, cultural transformation towards epistemic humility. That's obviously prioritizing patient safety over individual heroism and market disruptions. Um, Moving on to a conclusion by the team, the Theranos case represents an exemplary failure of professional ethics that transcends simple frauding to reveal systematic problems in how we conceptualize innovations, expertise, and accountability in our technological society. The case demonstrates that ethical analysis must integrate multiple theoretical frameworks, including virtue ethics, care ethics, deontological reasoning, consequential assessment, to fully understand the moral dimensions of the professional conduct. So most significantly, the case reveals how individual ethical failures emerge from and contribute to broader societal problems regarding trust, expertise, and democratic decision-making processes, and um, preventing future type failures requires not only better regulations or individual character development, but fundamental reconsideration of how we actually structure institutions, how we cultivate the professional virtues into people, and maintain the social relationship essential for scientific progress. So the ultimate lesson that is professional ethics in science and technology cannot separate from broader questions of justice or democracy and even human flourishing, because it's requiring renewed commitment to the moral foundation that makes scientific progress both possible and beneficial for the humanity rather than just exploitative and harmful system. So that is all from me today. My colleagues will be presenting on the economic implications, the legal implications, and society implications. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Raghav Gupta, and I am right now presenting the THERANOS case study of legal implementations. And my student ID is 237060. And right now, I am in the group C. In our group, there are four members: me, Sumanlata, Ishan, and also Gurmeet. And right now, I am presenting the slide one. In the slide one, is legal implementation of Theranos, in which there are fraud charges which was happened in the 2018, like for the misleading and false investor claims, and also these are suing by the investors, partner, and state of Arizona. And there are some regulatory investigations by the FDA and CMS which was practiced. These kind of things are not unsafe. And also Homeless and Balvenie have been charged with the criminal indictment of a wire fraud, failure to abate by an unsupervised corporate governance. And in the next slide, I am presenting the fraud and the lawsuits. These also are the charge of the Holmes and the Balmini with the massive fraud which was happened in 2018. These also are lawsuits filed by investors, which was very much financial losses by each and everyone, and also pharmaceutical partners, state of Arizona, inaccurate test results. These are the frauds which was happened, and there are also lawsuits. And also these are regulatory investigations which was happened in that time of period, like FDA found these kind of operation was not proper device approvals. CMS flagged unsafe laboratory practices, violations and federal health are which was safety due to safety regulations, and also highlighted failure to protect patients safely, because at that time these kind of things was not happening properly. And these are the closing takeaways. Due to diligence of each and everything, then law is non-negotiable in finance. Whistleblowers protection must be stronger. Regulator must be proactive, non-reactive. Legal ethics matters as much as business. Theranos is a legal case study on fraud and accountability. And these are the criminal charges and the governance, like in which I was say in 2018, almost and very indicated for wire fraud and conspiracy, showed deliberate for personal and cooperative gain, governance breakdown, lack of implements, check peak signals, like for the from the sides of the board as well, reinforce importance of accountability in health and tech. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Isandango, and today I'm presenting about the economic implications case case study on THERANOS. So talking about THERANOS case, so he promised cheaper healthcare via accessible testings. Talking about the example of market manipulations and failure of distribution justice, of which it was based on Jennings on 2022. Claims were false, causing economic loss, and also it relates to unethical use of non-existent technology. So, talking about their financial impacts, the investor lost millions of dollars, like in between 2014 and in 2015. The investor they lost like $700 million, and also revenue only on 2014 is like 1 million. So Uh, the estimated total loss is around $9 billion. So in the textbook, uh, it was case of fraud, violations, and misleading claims. And talking about the ethical analysis, it is distribution justice. So the raw theories explains that it must be fairness in distribution of resources. So he also explains that tenurers failed to ensure fairness, like promoted meritless access to resources, and also claimed that he used deceptions over merits. So this is about the distribution justice, what Rod theory explains about the tenurers. So this is a slide of the stakeholder theory applications. So letting about the investors, it was totally misled, deprived of crucial info. And about the employees, employees they face ethical and moral conflicts. And in the best sense, it was misdiagnosed and misleading results. So by looking at this, we can see the patients they are being misdiagnosed and misleading results, which is uh, the theory of the stakeholders. And also in the healthcare systems, the trust and resources were totally damaged. So which is the huge loss to the business. So it is based on the Freeman stakeholder theory and genuine on 2022. So what I learned from this theory is like market manipulation has real world harmful, and also we need the need for ethical transparency in startups like every evidence like every evidence which is like a uh verified multimedia news channels and verified uh verified in the internet news. So also what I learned is that stakeholders um deserve truthful, ethical, and fair treatment. Uh, so thank you. So this is my presentation. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. My name is Gurmeet Saini and today I will be presenting a case study on THERANOS. We are four group members, Suman, Ishan, Raghav and me. I will be focusing on the social implications of the company actions. Rather than discussing every aspect of the scandal, I will highlight how THERANOS misconduct affected society at large, drawing on ethical theories and the ACS Code of Conduct. My goal is to show that beyond financial losses, the deepest damage was to public trust and the future of healthcare innovation. Societal implications of THERANOS action. THERANOS was not only misleading investors but also deceiving society. Patients believed the technology could provide accurate, affordable, and convenient blood tests. Instead, the results were often unreliable, which could have led to misdiagnosis. The damage public trust in healthcare technology made patients more skeptical of medical diagnostics and created fear of corporate dishonesty in life critical industries. Stigma on health startups slowing down innovations as there is a problem occurred in the system. Ethical analysis, social context. When we look at the scandal through ethical theories, the failures became clear. From a deontological ethics perspective, Holmes and Balwani failed in their duty of honesty and transparency. From a utilitarian perspective, the harm to patients and society far outweigh any short-term benefits or profits. The ACS Code of Conduct. They violated the principle of public trust, engaged in deception, and reduced instead of enhancing the quality of life. Their actions were the direct opposite of what the code expects of professionals. Wider societal effects. The scandal caused a ripple effect across society. Trust in biomedical breakthrough declined, making it harder for genuine innovators to gain public support. Many startups could not secure funding because investors feared another Theranos-like fraud. Governments reacted by introducing stricter policies to regulate health technology. However, one positive effect was the rise of whistleblowing and public demand for transparency as more people began to see ethical accountability as essential. Scholarly reflections. Scholarly research confirms these societal impacts. According to O'Connor 2022, highlighted how ethical failure reshaped trust in health innovations. According to Parker 2021, emphasized that governance failures had long-term effects on public well-being. Smith and Johnson in 2022, he, he, he stated that professional codes are necessary to protect society. This study shows that the damage of Theranos extended well beyond its own downfall and reshaped how society views health technology. Conclusion. Theranos demonstrate how unethical leadership is harmful to society. Overall, to conclude, the Theranos case demonstrate how unethical leadership can harm society on a large scale. It represented a serious breach of ethical responsibility and the ACS professional standards. Public trust in healthcare was deeply compromised, and society became more cautious and skeptical. The key lesson is that strong ethical governance is vital for the future of health technology. The societal implication, loss of trust, fear of innovation, and demand for accountability remain the most lasting legacy of the Tharnos scandal. Thank you so much.